This is the kind of stuff I like to find. So I'm pulling out the corner window. Somebody wants to buy it. And I found a snap-on pry bar and this huge prick punch. Really good find. I'm gonna look up how much this snap-on pry bar is, but already making our money back, so this is pretty cool. So today we're picking up another parts truck. It's a 1978, 1979, somewhere in there, F-150. So it's got the square front grille. It's a four-wheel drive, regular cab. It's missing a box. It's missing all sorts of stuff. And this video is just gonna be kind of like how I get these trucks, how much I pay for them, what I look for, what parts are good on them, or what parts I need to be good for it to be of value. So first things first, it's important to know what the scrap value is in your area. If you live in an area where they're paying a high price for scrap, like I've heard as high as $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 for a complete truck scrap, you're going to be having to pay $200, $300 over scrap, no matter what it is. If you want somebody to waste their time with it, because they can just call somebody and have somebody come out and get it. So if you're trying to save these trucks, you need to know what the average scrap price is going to be and what you need to be offering, or what your price point should be. In this area, I think you can get about $800 to $1,100 scrap value. So it's really hard to get them complete for that price. And luckily I can do it. It takes a lot of time, a lot of messing around, but they're out there. And they're either out there in people's yards and people's barns, or on Facebook. And Facebook seems to be the place to go. Now, typically, people will buy these trucks complete and they'll do their best to fix them up or get them back on the road. But truth be told, even if they're in great shape, they require a ton, an absolute massive amount of work to get them to be a daily driver. So if you're weighing the options of, should I just buy a $10,000 rust-free rig, or should I buy a $1,000 rusty rig that's missing some parts? Either way, it really comes down to how much time do you want to put into it, because no matter what, you're going to be putting some of the same parts into an old truck that hasn't been restored, that's been sitting, versus an old truck that hasn't been restored, hasn't been sitting and has no rust on it. And I say that from the point of, I paid $10,000 for that red F-150. It's a 77 two-tone, amazing truck. I really like it. But I bought it sight unseen, and I take responsibility for that. But got it off the trailer, went to go start it up, immediately melted the battery terminals. I mean, there was no good grounds on it. There was a whole slew of wiring problems. Every single truck I've gotten has a rat's nest of wiring. I mean, there's so much crap you have to go through, and you just have to accept that. Unless you know that truck was daily driven, it requires a buttload of work to be safe and to be reliable. So the Bronco is reliable. It's a daily driver. Red truck, I've had it for a few months longer than the Bronco. Still not to the point the Bronco is, and I have so much money into that thing. But that thing will be extremely nice when I'm done. The Bronco's never going to be, I shouldn't say never, but I have no intention of the Bronco ever being as nice as my red truck. And going off on a tangent here, but you have to ask yourself, what's the purpose? What am I looking for? What is my budget? What is my time restraint? The money, you'll always find the money. I guarantee you'll find the money to fix the stuff. You will not find the time. If you find yourself halfway into a project, you can always come up with more money. You cannot come up with more time. So the trucks, they usually have something good about them and something terrible about them. Very rarely do they have a bunch of good stuff. So you could have a good motor, you could have a good transmission, and just as easily as you could have a bad transmission, a bad motor. They could be advertised as having a great motor, and you start it, you run it, you drive it home, and internally there's something catastrophic you don't know. You don't know what's going on. Bronco's the same way. I mean, there was no reason for me to think that the transmission was bad, but just it sitting so long made the seals go bad. So the truck I'm buying today, I know it has four-wheel drive, super important, because I can get about $300 minimum for the set of axles, and I can get up to, I think, $800 depending on the year. Obviously 77 and older is better, but for these axles I'd plan to get about $400 for the 4 9-inch and the Dana 44 combined. Another thing this one's got is it's got a decent bench seat. I don't know if it's good, I don't know if the mice have eaten it, but the fact is it could be put in another truck and run that day. There's so many terrible seats out there that people just want to use their vehicles, they'll put something like this in. Another thing it's got is it looks like the fenders and it looks like the doors are in good condition. Doors I can get up to $800 for a set. I mean, they really bring some high money. And that's because people will buy the Chinese made or the remanufactured doors or fenders and they don't fit. They don't fit worth a damn, and it's really frustrating. And it's so frustrating that these people, now not that I'm trying to take advantage of them, but there's just so many of them out there, and that's why I have to charge more, is because I don't want somebody just saying like, oh, my truck needs doors, I'm just gonna buy some cheap doors, and then they put it on a truck and the truck just rusts out anyway because they don't fix it. So I price things accordingly depending on if somebody's actually going to use them or not. But so we got about $800 for the doors. I can get about $400 for the fenders, about $400 for the axles, and the frame's probably cut up. I might be able to get $50 for the glass. I might be able to get another $100 out of the dashboard or something like that. But in reality, I want the motor, I want the transmission solely for parts. I do not plan on them working. I only want them for the housings and maybe the block, maybe the heads, who knows what. I just need to have them around for my projects. So I'm looking at $2,000 of return. Truck's $500. When I go out and drive, I try to only drive an hour or so. This one's an hour and 20. So with gas and everything, I value my time, so I'm counting my time in that. So we're gonna say minimum $200 just to go get it, plus $500, so $700 or so. And then who knows, maybe I'm factoring in other stuff. Let's just say I'm getting it for about $800. So we're looking at about $1,200 profit, plus I get to have first pick of all the different goodies. Now the inside is green. I don't have any green trucks. I have no intention of having any green trucks. However, maybe I want green in the circus truck. Maybe I want a green dashboard. Who knows? I don't know what the condition is. I don't ask questions. I don't ask, does it have a title? I don't ask, does the motor run? I do ask, will it drive on a trailer, or do I need to bring a winch? That's all I ask. Sometimes I'll ask, how bad is the rust? But typically, the less you ask, the more likely you are to get one of these deals. So I'm buying the truck for $500. If it's totally junk, worthless garbage, I can just turn around and scrap it and get $800. Exactly what I think I have into it. And I would never do that. I can't bring myself to scrap any little tiny piece. I've sold cabs that I know are going to be used in racing and stuff where they'll get damaged, and I have sold them with just like a little piece, like a vent piece on the floor right by the driver's side, and then that's the very next piece somebody asked me for, and it just eats me up. So really I try to sell every little piece individually. I try not to group things up unless people need the whole thing. But yeah, so long introduction of the video, but I'm going to get this truck, and I'll show you what it looks like once I get it. So it's the next day. I ended up picking up the truck, and it's just not quite what I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. I kind of expect that to happen. So let me show you what I got. 1979 F-150. So pretty darn rough. Frame is totally useless. It's got a Ford 9-inch. That's a OE rim with the OE hubcap. That's kind of cool. It's not worth much, but I like them. I got them on my red truck. There's another one, and he gave me another one that I got in the weeds. Cab is really rough. I love green. I grew up riding in a Dodge Power Wagon 200. It's a 4-door, same color green. I just love them. It does have something very cool. Check these out. 16.5-inch rims with a 5 by 5.5 bolt pattern. And let me tell you, these things are a gem. Probably some of the hardest rims to find out there, especially with this steely look. So in my opinion, for me, these alone are worth the entire value of the truck. And that's only because I've been trying so hard to find these wheels. So that's gonna allow me to run, I don't know if I can zoom in enough, the same wheels that are on the Bronco. I can run those on any F-150 or Bronco now without the wheel adapters. So you can see the other ones in the back of my pickup truck there. So I spent probably $200-300 on rims for the wrong rims, plus another $400 for spacers. So I'm already $700 in a set of really ugly looking rims for that Bronco. However, these are Steelies. I mean, just look, it really matches the truck good with those Steelies. So moving on, what else do we have? We have a pretty decent bench seat. It does have a tear on the other side. It's green, the jade green. I love the jade green. And let me tell you, it is gonna look absolutely phenomenal in this truck once we put it in the highboy. So right now this truck has a black seat, which my dad might like, but I'm thinking that it's gonna crack out after just a little bit of use. It's been remanufactured or reupholstered in its life at some point. So I'm really happy with that jade seat. I'm going to end up using that. So I'm counting that as $200. We'll count the rims conservatively at $300. So we're already made our money back for the value of the truck. It's got a green dashboard. This one's got a yellow one. I kind of like that. So I was thinking in this truck, green seat, yellow dashboard, and then possibly red top. That might be kind of cool because it's red, yellow, green. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on this truck for the cab. What a beautiful cab. I'm really happy with this purchase. All right, back to the truck. What else do we have here? We have a decent dashboard, a few holes in it, but no real damage, no real rust. These are about 150 bucks, but it's not terrible. Maybe it is terrible, who knows? But these visors I can get about 50 to 75 bucks if they clean up good. A little bit of a tear, that's not a problem. I got jade door panels. Those are the most valuable door panels out there, but they're not in great shape, so I'm not really counting that. It's got a slider back window. I can get about close to 100 bucks for that. Somebody's already asking about that corner window. That's another 40 bucks. And I don't know if you've already seen it or not, but it's a manual. So the manual transmission bolted up to this 351 motor is really cool because the manual transmission uses about 15 horsepower of the motor to run it, while a C6 uses about 50 to 55 horsepower. So if you're trying to upgrade and get a significant power boost, switching to a manual is the best way to do it. And if you want to run the 350 gears, this has got a granny gear in the NP 435. So really a great option. And because it's bolted up to a 351, you can bolt up a 351, a 400, or a big block 460. So that's worth some money, especially for the four-wheel drive. And it also has, I don't know if you can see it easy, NP 205. So that's the desired transfer case, which means that the front axle, although it's a 78, 79, it's got the cast pieces, it's got locking hubs, it's got all that stuff. So pretty happy with that. Let me show you what else it's got that I'm gonna. So the motor looks pretty good. Right now the carb's open, so I gotta plug that up somehow. But it's got an F350 with a power booster. So this will allow you to run like Thunderbird 500 brake calipers. You can run higher volume and higher pressure. So this is like a huge step forward for upgrading, especially on something like the Bronco that's getting to be more high performance. Another cool thing this has got is the 78, 79 steering box. And that's what everybody wants to convert their highboys to. And that's what I plan to use in my highboy conversion. You just box the frame, put the steering box on the inside instead of the outside, and then you can delete the RAM assist and the power assist and all those other leaky systems. So the truck has a lot of good things for me, not a lot of good things to sell, but you know what, 500 bucks, you can't go wrong with this kind of stuff. So overall, very happy with the purchase. Could be better, could be worse. So I'm gonna chalk this up as a win. We're gonna call it about a break-even win though. Mostly a win out of convenience. So just wanted to kind of show you guys that. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. I can make a follow-up video to this and show you what other kind of cool things I look for, but I don't really care about anything, right? I just want these trucks. They almost always have good parts. Four-wheel drives especially. You can't go wrong with a four-wheel drive buying it for scrap price. Two-wheel drive, you can lose your ass pretty quick, but no, this was a good purchase. This is a good truck. It's not savable, so it's great for parting out. I'm not gonna feel bad about it. And at the very end, if I have to scrap a few pieces, I have to scrap a few pieces. But for the most part, I think I'm gonna be able to completely sell this thing. So that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. New video on Wednesday.